I'm Spencer from Ice Nine Kills, and I want to talk about the influence that the movie The Crow has had on myself and the band. About 25 years ago, almost to the day, Alex Proyas's film The Crow was released in North America, and it was, at the time, one of the most visually stunning films I had ever seen. You know, this is before anything like The Matrix had come out, so this sort of dark, brooding cinematography really resonated with me. It did remind me a bit of something that Tim Burton would construct a movie with, as far as the city being so dark and brooding, and the story of revenge. Nice couple are murdered on the night before their wedding by this gang that always takes part in something called Devil's Night, which is the night before Halloween in Detroit. Just a night full of looting and pillaging and murder and most of all arson. And the two are killed, and the next year he comes back from the grave to avenge the death of his wife. And it's just an amazing story, and it's one of the most moving action movies I've ever seen, if that makes any sense. You know, action movies, there's a lot of violence and a lot of, gore and things exploding, but this one really had a heart, and it was such a great film that I really wanted to make sure that we paid tribute to it on our album, The Silver Scream, with our song, A Grave Mistake. And something that was interesting that happened back in the fall, I was lucky enough to do an interview for this movie that had come out called Hellfest, and Tony Todd happened to be in Hellfest, and of course he was also in the cast of The Crow, so it was a really cool experience getting to meet him and talk about how much the film meant to me. And I think it's great that we can put out a song that really, I think, touches on what the movie is really about, and true love, and that if you love someone, that they never truly die, and that the memory can live on forever. And I like that we have something that can pay tribute to Brandon Lee, which is obviously another crucial factor of the film. This was, I believe, one of his first films ever. His father, of course, was the legendary Kung Fu star Bruce Lee, and there was an incident, a terrible accident on the set, where a piece of metal was actually lodged in one of the gun chambers. Usually on films, when you're firing a gun, it's a blank. Nothing actually projects out of the gun. It's just an explosion, and it just makes a noise. But for whatever reason, there was a malfunction. A piece of metal was lodged in one of the chambers and was fired at the actor Brandon Lee, and he was shot right in the chest, and I believe he died 24 hours later in the hospital. So there's a real tragedy that surrounds a movie that is about tragedy. So that to me was always very interesting, and just contributed to giving the film this really dark aura around the whole production. And I like that we can pay tribute to him, and it gives me great pleasure to know and hear fans come up to us and say, hey, I never knew about The Crow, but because of this song, A Grave Mistake, I checked it out. So if we can in any way bring more attention to that film, the better.